Hey guys, for those who don't know me, my name's CmdrSnake, and this Canberra comp, I'm looking to trial some little recap videos at the end of each day that will kind of like cover and go over the team standings and how the comp's going. And yeah, it's just inspired by some content I saw for Laser Force Internationals, and I'm really keen to try and make this, and if it goes well, maybe do it at a Nats. So getting straight into it, covering the first day of results. So we've played half a round robin by now, a little bit more than half, and it's been an interesting day for sure. It's been quite different from the LSA predictions so far. There've been a lot of upsets, a lot of really interesting and close games. And the maze is fantastic. Like it's a really fun maze in my opinion, and I think everyone's really enjoying the comp. So, for starters, we've got Small Vietnamese Child with 30 VPs in first at the moment. That's my team. And then we've got Being Curious in second, TBA third, Base Bashers fourth, Tagaholics fifth. Few differences from the predictions with Dirt Page and Goonigans in sixth and seventh, as they were predicted first and second. Dirt Page predicted first, Goonigans predicted second. And feels like they're just kind of scaling into the comp. Like there's some mid kind of teams that were predicted to be in the mid tier. They've taken games off them, and they've had games taken off them by other teams. So yeah, it's yet to be kind of seen how all that will shake out. But continuing down, we got Succulent Chinese Meal, Unicorns of Destruction, Khan's Rowdy Boys, Cabbages, Retribution, Meep Meep, Illiterates, Jorkers, and Kelpies. A couple of things to point out here. So Meep Meep having a bit of a rough first day. Just they've got a few rookies who haven't played out. I believe haven't played much outside the state before. I know that Western's played WA Clash, but I think this might be Newton and Panda's first interstate comp. So just having a few teething issues there, and I'm sure that they'll pick it back up and come back a bit stronger. A couple of the home teams having a bit of a rough start. Unicorns of Destruction having a fairly strong start compared to predictions, picking up 20 VPs in their 5 games, but Khan's Rowdy Boys having a couple of rough games in their first few games, and falling a little bit below where they were predicted. And yeah, everyone else kind of falling around where they were predicted. There was like top 8, it's quite shaken up at the moment. But yeah, it's looking to be an interesting comp. So in terms of the solo ladder, we've got a few standout players at the moment. So obviously Runt, fantastic player, 3.15 GRC, like somewhat expected to see him at the top of the solo ladder there. Lilbo having a fantastic comp as well. He's got 2.63 GRC. We've got a few players over 2.5 with him, Plank, and Believer, who is Twinkles, um, all smashing it out of the park this comp. And Plank doing that as well as having like a pretty rough denial rate. So does Twinkles though, to be fair. Myself in fifth, Stalker, Holmes, Finn, VG, and Shock rounding out the top 10 of the solo ladder. And yeah, so I would say it's quite interesting. There's like a decent spread of teams. TBA and Small Vietnamese Child both have a couple of players in there. Psychedelic Chinese Meal has 2 players in there, and then Meet Meet, Being Curious, Dirt Page, all just having the one player in there each, and Khan's Rowdy Boys, of course, with VG. A couple of the home players like doing really well as well. Obviously, you got Finn and VG both doing well for their teams, and yeah, in terms of a game, the best game of the day, in my opinion. So if you're gonna watch one game from today, I would go and watch what was a bit of an upset game, which was a succulent Chinese meal versus Goonigans versus Jelly's Jorkers. And it was only an upset between 1 and 2. Jelly's Jorkers like stayed in it early, but against Goonigans, but kind of trailed off towards the end of the game, as you can see in the worm here. But it was a fantastic game by Succulent Chinese Meal to really like pull a big upset. Like Goonigans has been playing quite fantastically, and honestly, I don't think anyone expected to see Succulent Chinese Meal beat this team. But they played an excellent control style game. Just looking at like how it was going in the mid game, they just pulled ahead real early. They got a few bases. They were on top of Goonigans, weren't able to get anything going because Succulent Chinese Meal were just on top of them the entire game. They were able to like really control the game and play Goonigans out of it, which netted them the victory points. So it was really well done by them, and a good game to watch. Um, in terms of a couple of spotlights I want to mention. So first of all, my team, Small Vietnamese Child, has had a very good day. in terms of a like team spotlight, I think looking at the like team ladder, we are very out of place with 5 wins out of 5 games. And it's really really interesting. We've been playing fantastically. Like Diego's been going crazy, Lilbo, and Scaris and Todd have really picked up like all the training has really paid off because we're managing to get through bases and stuff really quickly. Innie's been great in last line. Like we've kind of pulled everything together and it's been a really good time. And yeah, it's turning into wins. I will say, however, like to bring it back down a bit, the games we have played have been a little bit easier. So this last game around robin we played is against two of the lower predicted teams. Um, Base Bashers, Tagaholics, Meat Meat, and Succulent Chinese Meal are probably the best teams we've played so far. We haven't played any of the like truly high predicted teams yet. We will play two of them tomorrow in TBA and Dirt Page, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a sec. In terms of a player spotlight, a player who's been playing fantastically, if we go back to the solo ladder, is Order. So just outside the top 10 here. Home site player who got really hyped up on the stream by Gustus, and honestly, like it's understandable why. Like after playing against him and also seeing like him playing these games, Caucasian Cabbages haven't had a fantastic record today. They do have 2 seconds and 2/3, but Order's been really like playing incredibly well, and he was like very very difficult to duel. It's clear he knows this maze well. And he's also just been a solid bloke in the maze. So just wanted to shout him out and give him a little spotlight in terms of a solo player performance. Last thing last couple of things I'll touch on are a predictions update. So this is my personal opinion on, and when I say it's my personal opinion, based on today's results, just a little bit of an idea of where like I think things are looking like they might shake out to later in the comp. It's a very skewed thing because we've only played half a round robin, so like a lot of teams have only versus hard teams and stuff. So I'd expect this to shake up a lot more as we head into the end of round robin and Cascades tomorrow. But to start with, like I think Dirtbage, Goonagans, and Being Curious, well, they're not at the top right now. Well, Being Curious is one spot off the top. They're playing incredibly well. I think that by the end of the comp, just the pure experience and skill on those teams will bring them above. TBA's had a little bit of a rough day, but I'm still bumping them up a spot because I reckon they're like, again, they've got Runt and Twinkles. They've got like two of the best players in the comp. They've got like some fantastic support, and I think they will be able to pull together a really strong finish to the comp. While they've had a couple of hiccups, I don't think anything is like I say a couple. They've come second or third in one game, so I think they're still a pretty high lock for a top 4. And Base Bashers has been playing really well. While my team did beat Base Bashers once, they've pulled out some wins against good teams. They beat Goonagans. I can't remember who else they beat, but they're definitely like worthy of being in that top 5. I'm bumping my own team up a bit because we've just had a very good day. I wouldn't be surprised if after tomorrow I bump us way back down the predictions to something a bit more realistic, but personally I'd like to think that the way we played today and stuff bumps us right up in the predictions, and I would say right high up. Succulent Chinese Meal, as I said, had that fantastic upset against Goonagans. They're doing really well. Meat Meat having like a very rough day, so they had quite a few like drop games, I guess, and as I said, I think some of those hiccups are to do with the rookies and the fact that they're just adjusting to a new maze for the first time in a while. But I would definitely hope that and think that between Cyrex, Shock, Fiber, like they have such a good wealth of experience and skill on that team that while I've got them here right now, I'm sure that they'll pull things together and start climbing back up. Tagaholics, it felt criminal to put them this low after how well they've played today. I think they took a game off Dirt Page. They took a game off TBA. Like, they've taken games off of very high teams. They've also lost to a couple of teams that obviously aren't as good as those top teams. But, like, I've got them here right now, but if they keep playing the way they're playing, it's another team. Like, this middle section of 5 teams was impossible to rank. Like, I have it like this right now, But honestly, you could put these five teams in any order, and I would not be able to argue with you. I think it's a very, very tight midfield. Um, Cabbages, sorry, I miss Khan's. Khan's Rowdy Boys playing all right. They've dropped some games, and honestly, the reason I've dropped them in the rankings after being quite high on them like before the comp, I thought they'd play really well, is that they've had a bit of a rough start, and I feel like being a home team, a lot of the other teams are only going to get better quicker, considering that they already have the maze knowledge and stuff, whereas the other teams are learning as they're going. So I've got them down here for now, but again, another team where I'm like, it doesn't feel like they should be this low, like in 10th. Cabbages did all right today. Not the greatest day as far as I remember. If I go to the correct thing. Yeah, they're sitting down 11th at the moment. They've played 4 games. They've got 12 points. Like they're fine. Just I think other teams have done enough to warrant being above them right now. But Dark Horse and Order's playing brilliantly. So Unicorns of Destruction took some games off it. They took a game off of Cabbages. They played well against some other teams. They're above Cabbages right now, I think. Very like they're playing well. Retribution, Jorkers, Illiterates, and Kelpies all have had a bit of a rough day. I think the 4 of them are sitting at the bottom of the standings. Yeah, with Meep tied in there. I think Retribution's a team that can do very well. Sicarius, Packing, Camster, very, very good players. Um, Illiterates played fantastic, and honestly, I think the results are above what they expected, and a lot of that is to do with how well a couple of their 2 rookies are playing. And I was able to play with them in one of their training games, and they're the real deal. They're pretty good. Um, Jorkers just need to find a rhythm. I think I believe Jelly's captaining, and I think they just need to like find where and how they want to play and stuff. And finally, Kelpies. They as a home side team, like I hopefully they can pull out a win or a second, especially coming into Cascades. Um, but we'll have to see. It is a very very tough comp with a lot of good teams. But that kind of rounds out my predictions. I'm sure I'll talk more in future days. Tomorrow, games to watch, in my opinion. If you're going to watch any games tomorrow, there are 2 games at the end of round robin, 10:45 and 11:15. The game 30 and game 32. I think these will be good games. So that game, Meep, TBA, and Being Curious. TBA, they've dropped a game, I think, or a couple games, that weren't wins. And Being Curious, they're almost flawless. Meep, something to prove. Like 3 teams that are all very, very good teams, and they're all not going to be wanting to drop this game. Like they can very much fight for this game, and I think it'll be very interesting to watch. And then the other game to watch is Dirt Page, Small Vietnamese Child, and TBA again. Again, TBA won't want to drop these games. They've already had a couple hiccups. They don't want any more. Similar with Dirt Page, they came third the first game of the comp. They don't want that to happen again. And Small Vietnamese Child, my team, we've got 5 wins so far, but we've also like not proven ourselves against any of the top teams. So we'll have to see how those 2 games go, but I think they'll be really interesting to watch either way. So yeah, that kind of wraps up my little recap, as I put it. I'm keen to try keep doing these, and if people enjoy them, I'll yeah look at doing them at a Nats or other comps. So cheers.